All right. What's up, Power Warriors? Today is Tuesday, December 10th, 2024. My name's Jared McAllister, the virtual solar pro, and this is Tuesday training. A little bit of a different format, and I'm guessing it's because everybody's on the old link. Share the new link with your friends, your coworkers, your family. But speaking of family, I gotta say, it is good to see a couple of my brothers who I miss because I feel like, man, masterclass and holidays has kept us apart, but no longer. Mr. Jonathan Bernasso, Mr. Tom Cotter. What's up, dude? I miss you guys.
Good morning. It does seem like it's been a while. Seems like it's
It's
been a
been
while.
Good
like 2, 3
morning.
weeks.
Good morning. Good afternoon. Good morning to Jarrett's new beard, by the way. Let's all give it up for his beard. Guys, turn your cameras on, invite your teams. Let's get the energy up.
I'm feeling lacking.
Come on. Come on.
Yeah, it's that's how long it's been since we've seen each other. I've actually grown a beard. But no, it's good, man. Have you guys had good holidays? I mean, like I said, I since Thanksgiving, and then we had masterclass. A lot has happened. Jonathan, you're fresh back from Tulum.
That's right. Yeah, I was there with John Wilson, Matt Crowler, his guy. We had a great trip there. Look forward to like a 2026 Power Contest Award in Tulum. We got big things cooking. It was an amazing time.
That would be sick. That would be. Well, should we kick this thing off? And yeah, I think everybody is on the old Zoom link. I'm getting notifications through my email saying people are joining. So we can
Yeah.
give it just a second to let a few people hop on. Give me 1 second. And then also put this link here. Yeah, there's the registration link. I just dropped that in a couple of the chats, but we are live. So we're going to kick this thing off just like we do every single Tuesday. And that's with some success stories. So we want to hear from you, your success, your past success. I see some new faces on here, some old, but we want to hear from all of you. So raise your hand, drop it in the chat. I will call on a few of you, and then we will move on to some updates. But before we do so, what you got? I see Eric Williams Jr. in here. I don't is he ever on our calls? Bro, this is cool. Some new faces.
Got new people on here.
Yeah. What's up, Eric? How you doing, brother? Good to see you on here, man.
Hey, I'm doing good. I had to sit here in my wife's little meeting while she takes another meeting with Danny. So I'm wrapping up Danny's meeting with Joel, and then I'll be back on my computer with you guys.
How was the
Oh, you're
Philippines?
good.
How was
So
the
she,
Philippines?
She's here. Huh?
You were with Wally in the Philippines, right?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I was hanging out with Wally down there. Man, it was perfect. And not to toot my own horn, but I was the first power rep down there in Wally World. So just
yeah,
oh shoot.
yeah, tell us about Wally World, man. Miss that guy. He's one of the best dudes in this company that's ever been here. I mean, he's just such an incredible human being with an amazing story. I had him on my podcast, like, I don't know, 4 or 5 months back. He told his story, but tell us, what was it like seeing Wally out there and what he's doing in the Philippines?
And I'll tell you, like, Wally actually put it all in perspective, man. But besides the view and what he built there, it is just crazy. Like even when we got there, he was still putting up the final doors that separating the inside of his house from his pool area. Like the guys was putting the doors in. Uh, but just to be there with him and actually learn from him, like we had so many conversations, man, and it kind of put things in perspective for me as well. It's like, why am I doing this? Why are we out here trying to, get $1 million? He sat there, did everything he needed to do for his family, moved to the Philippines where his dollar now, that $1 million that we see in America, that's 50 million in the Philippines. So it, my wife was there with me. I even got the opportunity to bring my father along with us to Wally World, and it's like I said, it's I recommend everyone to go because like he has what 70 acres. He has a pet volcano. Like you guys see it on Facebook all the time. He's taking pictures of it. He had a guy go climb up a tree to pick us coconuts and like man, it was great. And then the help only costs $100 a month.
What only costs 100?
The help, like he has a lady that comes and cooks and
Oh,
cleans. He
wow.
has a guy that helps out with the land. He embodied himself in the little village that's there. Like everyone around, like he gave those individuals jobs. So the people that built his house and everything, they're from the village that his home is at. He's actually in there with the neighborhood. He helped fix a couple of people homes out there, and it's like he's real like that's his whole family. Like all of them is family. Like it's really inspiring the way he had all of it set up.
That's so incredible. I mean, Wally really embodies the like spirit and the essence of like what power is, what it can be. He's built a life by design, right? Of location independence, um, total freedom. He still has the ability to help people go solar back in the States while living his dream out in the Philippines. He's helping others, helping the community. That's Eric, I'm jealous. I'm jealous that you got to go out there and spend that time with him. Or should I say I'm envious? That's a better word to use, but
You'll
that's
be out
just
there. You'll be out there soon. One thing of advice that Wally did say quite a few times is the fact that is basically it's all about how much hits your bank account. Like he repeated that quite a few times throughout our talks. It's about how much hits your bank account. Count that number.
that's it. That's how he calculates his wins. It's not
Yeah,
about presentations. It's not about team. He strictly counts it on what a lot of people, the ultimate scoreboard test is how much are you making, right? You could close 10 deals and make 10 grand. You could close 2 deals and make 20 grand, right? So it is about what you earn and what you keep. And yeah, he's always been a great sales mentor and dropping those nuggets. So that's incredible. Eric, thank you for sharing Wally World's success story. And cheers to you and all your success as well, brother.
no, I appreciate you, brother. Thanks for reaching out and talking to me.
You got it. You got it, man. Well, look, we will go ahead. Yeah, I know, Bernasso. That's a success story. Large Florida deal with 4 batteries, massive system. Actually came in cheaper than the competitors. Our sales rep made a $55,000 commission. Okay. That's more than what a lot of people make in a year. And
And
he
John
made it on one deal.
Wilson, Go Green in his enterprise, he's actually on here right now. I mean, I think he made a $4,000 passive revenue share check from his level 1 seller. Is that right, John? Give us
Yeah,
a little bit about that
it was
55 grand commission from your seller.
$4,900. Yeah, $4,900 override.
That's incredible. Dude, is that Jonathan Wilson? I can't tell. There's no glasses. He's got the beard going. 'Tis the season.
Yes, sir.
What's up, brother? Good
What's
to
up?
see you, man. Yeah, dude, you're kicking butt. Why don't you share a little bit of success that you've had over the past week?
Yeah, I was excited to get shouted out. Speaking of impact income, I was number 5 on the income leaderboards for November, so that was awesome. And yeah, I might be on it again in December, actually. We'll see, just seeing how things get funded. And we got back from Tulum, did an awesome retreat there, and excited to launch some details about a Tulum Leadership Summit we're going to be having there at that retreat center. So details coming soon on that, but I'm just so stoked to be a part of this and excited to hear what training we've got today.
Awesome. Great stuff, man. And yeah, Jeffrey Martin, I see you talking smack about my football team. That's rough, dude. We had a good win. All right, you guys. Well, look, thank you for sharing your success stories. We are going to move on. We have a heavy show. Jonathan, why don't you you have some updates?
Yes, sir. Thank you, Jarrett. Appreciate y'all. We've been a little MIA the last few weeks with all the updates, CEO call, trainings, masterclass. So I'm going to give you guys a few quick updates and thoughts before we turn it over to the great Tom Cotter here. But again, welcome to new faces, power hitters, solar warrior tribes. Everyone is welcome Tuesdays at 10 a.m. for this meeting where we share success stories, go over updates, and do pretty epic training. It's all put on Jarrett's YouTube and my YouTube and shared in Power Hitters Facebook chat. So a few quick slides from the amazing masterclass, but if you want the full recap, besides reading your email, attend your market development call this week because they will be going over the full recap. This right here is gold. If you're new here, if you recruit someone, if you need activities to build your business, these are the most important meetings you should be attending. Mondays at 12, Tuesdays, Power Blitz Bootcamp or Power On onboarding if you're new. And again, Sales Success Lounge if you have questions 3 days a week. Power Blitz to get you into momentum and activities to perform on the call. And then building your team and business with Bobby on Friday. These are just a few of the most important trainings that we have. They're pretty awesome. And of course, get your 2025 set right. You know, Tom will be touching on this more, but make your calendar, put the events down. You know, are you going to the Leadership Summit February 20 and 21st? Are you attending Solar Saturdays? You know, are you going to be in Las Vegas September 25th to 27th right here? And are you going to go to SolarCon, you know, in Vegas this year? So plan your year out, get it right, collaborate with leaders. And the next event I really want you guys to attend is the Leadership Summit, February 20th and 21st in San Diego. If you would like to attend and you were not invited, you can email marketingteam@powur.com. Get with your leadership. But you were invited if you had, you know, top 30, 40, 50 income, sales, mentorship, things like this. So it is invite Leadership Summit. Go to powerconvention.com/leadership summit. Please get your ticket and commit to going to this. I will be getting mine today. Some of you already have, like Jonathan Wilson and others here. So that is big. A few other quick things that Jonathan Budd did on Masterclass. Sell a clean deal, get $500 more to your project margin. That should be starting today. Sonova is back on in just 3 to 4 states. They still will be challenging to work with through Q1, guys. TPO, lease PPA had a big uptick faster than anyone expected. And they are trying to get the tax equity and appetite to pay these jobs out. So be patient with Sonova, LightReach, and installs are slowly back on, but we are navigating domestic content. I'm in talks with Jay and Emily, Bud, and Brenton. So if you can, be patient. They are still trying to get waivers, navigate change orders, just set expectations with your homeowner, send them a Christmas gift, and you should be good most of the time.
Hey, in those talks, any talks about turning it back on to California?
No, I don't think we should for at least a few weeks, but give it a few weeks and we should
Okay.
have an update.
Few weeks, that's good talks. Yeah, shoot. Even
Hopefully.
January 1st. That'd be great.
But in the meantime, lean into LightReach and GoodLeap. So GoodLeap's launching Envision probably in 1 to 2 weeks. It's a beta launch. And they also announced an Aurora pilot. If you want to be a part of that, there's a link you can attend to be part of the Aurora design pilot. 2 more things here. Payment terms have improved. This is awesome. So there's no more fee to collect an M1, which is up to $1,000 starting next year. And then there's M2, which is paid on average 72 hours. That's pretty badass, guys, from install marked complete. That's awesome. And then there is an M3, which is at PTO. It's only 20%. So you get most of the money quickly, and we still get an M1 and no fee. This is a win-win, in my opinion. So great news there. And then last two things here. If you want to sell in Nevada, it's an amazing market. There is a special market development meeting today, December 10th. Chris Mitchell, Colby West, One Pacific. If you want to sell in Nevada, learn how to become a seller in Nevada, hear what the new announcement is. There's some new laws and changes. So I highly recommend attending this meeting to learn about the steps to sell in Nevada. And lastly, today we have goal setting continued. And this Friday, we have a holiday party in Southern California sponsored by Sungage Financial. Thank you, the best lender, in my opinion. That's in Pomona, California. Send myself or Cynthia a private message. We have 2 or 3 seats left. Next Tuesday will be the last one of the year. We will likely be sharing gratitude and success stories, and that's usually how we like to wrap up the year. A very special, heartfelt gratitude, year in review, success wins, how we changed lives this year, and how it's just going to get better. So stay tuned for next Tuesday, because we are dark on Christmas and New Year's Eve. So we'll have no call, and happy holidays.
Can I just give a quick shout out to Sungage? I ran a proposal yesterday, and when comparing, I did a 25-year 899. It came back less than a same margin than Light Reach 199 escalator. I did a 25, shout out to Owen Carey, who recommended a 25-year 599. Dealer fee was not that much, and boy, was the price like, it was like, $30 less. It was so competitive. And I think 2025, year of the loan comeback. Let's go. And we could just avoid all this TPO madness. My personal opinion. But
yeah.
Anyway, I just wanted I just put that out there. Cynthia, were you going to say something on that? I see you shaking your head violently.
Yeah.
In agreement.
The only thing that also even the 25-year 3.99 that most of us don't like because it has a high dealer fee is the same price as a Sonova PPA lease and storage if you apply the tax credit. So it's looking like the lowest monthly payment. So that's a product that I've been adding back in.
Incredible. We'll focus a little bit more on this after the new year. I think it's worth talking about.
100% good advice. Yeah, I do think that with the uncertainty and headwinds in the TPO market, use the tools in your tool belt. It's a great idea to lean into a little bit more loans until things settle down a bit. Otherwise, there will be some choppiness. Just set expectations, and we will have an amazing 2025. With that said, I'm going to be handing it off to the great fearless leader, Tom Cotter, Andrea Budd Award winner, global world traveler. Tom, take us away for some goal setting our financials, 2025. We're ready. Type ready.
Thanks, Thanks Jonathan. Yeah, type ready in the chat if you're ready to jump in here. Let me share my screen. Right into this. So today is a goal setting workshop for 2025. And for some of you, this is going to be brand new stuff. For others of you, this is going to be basic stuff that maybe you haven't really done before. You know of it, but you haven't actually done it. So we've had masterclass last week. We had a training with Melissa Dawson on Saturday. She was also down in Mexico at Larry's house on the coast on one side, desert on the other side. So this training today is a follow-up to those other 2 events. So I'm going to summarize those to start, and then jump into some actual workshop stuff that will hopefully be helpful to you. But I want to start with a quote from Napoleon Hill. He said, "You will not achieve success without a definite goal, with a definite plan to reach it." So you can set your why, you can set your goals, but if they just kind of sit out there without anything on your calendar, you use a calendar, don't you? Type in the chat what calendar you use, whether it's something like a Google Calendar or a planner. If you're old school and you use paper, that's cool too. But today we're going to talk about the plan to reach that. But let's back up a little bit. So this is kind of the flow of what we're going to talk about today. We're going to talk about the why. That's what Melissa and Jeff talked about in previous trainings over the last week. We're going to talk about calculating your key performance indicators. That's what KPI stands for. Before I worked for Sunrun, I didn't know what KPIs stood for, I will admit. So thank you, Emmett, for that. We're going to talk about mastering your day and RAS and accountability. So we will jump into what those things mean. Let's look at the why. So Saturday training recap here. So why, first of all, let me back. When you bring somebody into Powur, not just for yourself, but when you bring somebody into Powur, you should help them write down their why. Why are they starting this journey with Powur? Okay. Hopefully you have this written down for you, someplace that you can see it, maybe like a note that you can post onto your computer screen, or someplace that you can keep this in the forefront of your day so you can remember your why. For those of you who were at Powur World a couple of years ago, you may recommend, or you may recognize this purple pill, the X pill. So this, I actually have 2 of these. I have one in my office and one by my bed, my bedroom where I meditate. So I actually look at this all the time and think about my why and think about my intent. So your why is your emotional connection and driving force for success. That's what Melissa and Jeff trained us on. So Melissa achieved her location and financial freedom through goals that aligned with her why. You know, she and her husband built a house more out in the middle of nowhere than I guess where Jarrett is, because Jarrett lives in like a neighborhood, right? He's not like out in the wilderness with like bears walking around his front yard. Okay,
that is correct.
So
although we do have deers, sometimes moose that walk in our front yard, turkeys definitely.
Yeah. So Larry McKinney used his why. So he's got I think he's got multiple houses down in Mexico, like one on each coast that he moves between, the seasons. You heard about Wally and moving to the Philippines, and how, his Powur income goes so much further in a country that has a different currency. So what is it that you want? Your why can be centered around, location, freedom, time freedom, financial freedom, inner freedom. So if you haven't gone through some of our training and knowledge base, might be kind of hard to see there, but we've got a business planner. We've got, the 2024 year in review workshop that we covered in recent trainings. Make sure that you do that if you haven't yet, but start to think about a why if you don't have one, and that's going to drive your goals and your vision. So there's the 3 goals framework from that workshop that talks about happiness, health, and wealth. You can have your goals around those things. I think it's very helpful. Today, we're going to piggyback off of the wealth, which goes into financial planning workshop. So we're going to break down your wealth goal into some tangible steps and gain strategies to execute that. And here's the key: consistency, right? That's really what this is about, is taking your wealth goal and translating that into your calendar and the things that you're doing every workday. Okay. So let's talk about calculating your KPIs. I made a QR code and I've got a link here as well. Somebody can go ahead and copy and paste that into the chat if you want to. But this planning tool, there's a planning tool, a spreadsheet in Knowledge Base that was the first one, well, one of the first ones that I created when I started with Powur, because I asked people, you know, well, who's got a spreadsheet where I can put in my income goal and, you know, help me figure out, you know, my actions of what I need to be doing. So that didn't exist. So I just kind of created one and then validated that data over time with some data that Powur and Charles Thompson had been sharing. So on this tool, you're going to enter your annual income goal. You're going to enter your estimated average commission. How many days a week are you working your Powur business? And how many weeks of vacation you're going to take per year? Okay. And there's some other conversion percentages that you can edit later once you actually have some data to support those things. Okay. Thanks for posting that in the chat. And I'll say this is a tool that you can not just use for yourself, but you can use it for new teammates when they're starting. I highly recommend that you have a Zoom or an in-person meeting with every seller, with every setter that you bring into Powur and help them think through their why and help them think through this planning tool. And then you can circle back to that on a regular basis with them and adjust as needed. Okay, so here's a screenshot of what that looks like if you haven't gone to that link or can't go to that link with what you're doing on your computer right now. But this is what it looks like. And so you're going to start by editing these 4 things that are in yellow at the top middle of the screen. And let's switch over and look at a live example of what this looks like. Okay, let me say, first off, when you go to this, you're not going to be able to edit it. So you don't need to request edit access. What you can do, we'll show this live, Jonathan, so people see it. So people see, we're going to show it live. Go to File and go to Make a Copy, and it will copy this into your own Google Drive. And that version that's copied is what can be edited. Okay. So what is your income goal? And this could be for a seller or it could be for a setter. This is set up really as a sales calculator, but with a few tweaks, you can adjust it for a setter as well. So who wants to come off of mute and kind of work with me through this sheet? You can be brand new to Powur if you want to. You can have seen this or never seen this before. Come off
I'll work
mute.
with you, Tom.
Let's do it, Eric. So what is your annual income goal?
So let's do 950,000.
950,000.
No, you're so short, Eric.
Yeah, I was just gonna ask the question, why 950? Why not $1 million? Like what's the thought process behind that?
The thought process is to trigger what just happened, because everyone else always after the million, but why? So technically 950 will give me the million.
Got it. So here's something to keep in mind. So for those of you who are, tier 2, tier 3, who are building a team, you're going to have an income goal that probably includes not just personal sales, but also partner sales and also revenue share, right? So this calculator is for personal sales. Okay, so let's say that Eric wanted to make $950,000 a year in personal sales. Okay, now Eric, what would you say is an average commission for you?
It's about 7,000.
Okay, so we're going to put 7,000 here, and the reason I had 6,000 in there just as the default is that 7,000 is probably the average commission across our community. And what I coach people to do is to use the ambassador program and generate leads through the ambassador program, because those are going to have higher conversion rates, higher close rates than almost any other lead source that you can focus on. Okay. So if the average commission is 7,000 and we're using the ambassador program for almost all of their leads, I'm being conservative by 6,000, just explaining how I got to that default number. So Eric, how many days a week do you want to work your Powur business?
6 days would be good.
6 days. And how many weeks of vacation do you take per year?
I would like at least 4 weeks.
4 weeks. I've got a quote right here that I want to share with you. I wasn't planning to do this. I don't know if you can see this quote right here. Oh, shoot, there. Design a life that you don't need to take a vacation from.
It's awesome. I love it.
You know how much of a pain it was to get this thing home from Powur World?
How much did it cost?
Free.
anyways, unplanned. So 4 weeks of vacation per year, that's good. Now these other items down here, you can edit these as you want to. So what this means is that your percentage of solar conversations to electric bill collected is 20%. Okay, so out of 10 conversations about solar, not just any conversations, but 10 conversations about solar, you're going to collect 2 electric bills, right? And from the electric bills that you collect to actual presentations, that's going to happen about 80% of the time. And then this is your close rate. So from presented to sold would be 25%. And sold to installed, this is the pull-through rate. So you only lose about 5% of all of your projects, 95% of them get installed. So I'm just picking numbers here. You can adjust those as you have data. If you are door knocking, your conversion numbers will likely be a little bit lower than if you're focused on ambassadors and partnerships and things like that. Okay, so just a thought there. So what this means is that, Eric, you've got this income goal, your average commission, we've got your days work per week and your vacations per year. So this is what your metrics look like for your weekly targets and daily conversations goal. Okay, so each day, each work day, 6 days a week, right? You're going to have 12 conversations about solar. So weekly, that's 6 days a week. That's about 75 conversations per week. You're going to collect 15 electric bills. You're going to do 12 presentations a week and close 3 projects a week. Okay. So we've seen people that do numbers like this on the Powur platform, right? It's not unheard of. It's high volume. But remember, I said this is personal sales. So you can get to not $1 million, but 950,000 all on this tracker right here. So this is just what monthly and yearly targets look like. So each month, 300 conversations about solar, 59 electric bills collected, and you can see the other numbers in here as well. So if you said, I want to show you this here because you can edit this. So see these numbers down here? You can edit those numbers, and let's say that 30% of conversations turned into an electric bill being collected. So you can see how the numbers change when I click this right here. So now it's 8 daily solar conversations and everything else changes. Okay. If you have a lead generation strategy that has lower conversions, whatever conversion that is, you can see how things may adjust here. Okay. Now, if you said, the other thing you can do with this is, let's say these 75 weekly solar conversations. Let's say that, how long do you think it takes you to have a conversation with somebody about solar, Eric? What's the number of minutes?
I'd say about what, 10, 15 minutes.
Let's say 10 minutes. So the other thing that you can do with this sheet is just take this field, multiply it by 10 minutes. And now you know that you have 742 minutes per week. For each work day, that's like 2 hours, per work day to have that many conversations, right? So you can figure out how much time it takes you, and this is going to come into where we're headed next, but you want to allocate time for these kinds of activities on your calendar. Eric, any questions about this sheet so far?
Nope, I actually use your sheet. And on my sheet, it is $1 million, guys. But yeah, I love this sheet.
Let's say somebody had a $150,000 income goal. They were doing 6,000 5 days a week, and let's leave it at 4 weeks. So you can see that's daily solar conversations is 3. Weekly solar conversations is 14. 3 bills a week, 2 or 3 presentations a week, like 2 projects being sold a month, right? So you can adjust this as you want to, and again, tweak it. Let me check the chat here. Let me. How's that, Jonathan? Is that mic better?
Yeah, it's a little better. I figured it wasn't your fancy mic.
Yeah, it may have swapped it around a little bit.
There you go.
Okay, let's keep going here. Sorry, I just saw it. So here's the planning tool. If you don't have it, you can grab that. It's also in the chat. Let's talk about mastering your day. So mastering your day comes down to time blocking. So time blocking is allocating specific time slots for core activities. You want to block the things that you do every day. These are your key performance indicators that you came up with from that sheet that we just looked at. So if we go back to the sheet, your key performance indicators would be, your key performance indicators would be what was right below this section right here, right? It would be conversations, bills, presentations, and closed projects, right? So you want to block those things on your calendar. And I'm going to show you what that looks like here. One of the things that I also recommend is blocking out some bigger chunks for deep work, for things that you are, for projects that you have, or systems that you're building that that can be easily duplicated by others. This is true especially if you are building a team. It doesn't have to be 2 to 4 hours a day, but I do recommend having that 1 or 2 times per week, depending on things that you're working on and things that you're building. Okay, this is in addition to your training that you're showing up for, that we're going to talk about in a minute. But this would be, blocking time of deep work, and also turning off your phone, putting it on airplane mode, putting it on do not disturb. My phone is probably on do not disturb mostly through the day. I just don't take calls anymore, because calls and texts and messages distract me from what I'm trying to do. I do have on my calendar, which you'll see in a minute, I do have time blocked off for team communication and supporting other people. So here's some activity to consider for your time budgets. So starting conversations. So this is starting a conversation that may or may not turn into talking about solar. So David, what if a client's calling? I'm not on call. I don't want a life where I'm on call 24 hours a day or even 8 hours a day. They can leave a message and I'll get back to them. So time budgets for solar conversations, for collecting bills, for preparing quotes, for presenting, okay? And you may want to set time aside for closing those projects, tidying them up and working them through to scope of work confirmation. Okay, so here's an example of just a sample week in my calendar, and I've pulled off some things and added some other things so that you can see an example that, you know, I've got regular time for deep work that's in green, and also I've got this DMO, daily method of operation. So that's 45 minutes a day that I'm doing things that are listed on my key performance indicators. And the gray that is on the top and the bottom, that's the sleep. So I can compete with Jonathan and Rick and Chris and others for my Aura sleep score. But you should use a calendar. I'm not saying you need to use this, which is Google Calendar. Pick a calendar and block off times on a regular basis, recurring events that will be what your KPIs are doing. Chris forgot 5:30 p.m. cold plunge. Don't get me distracted because I'll start talking about cold plunge. And we'll take questions in a little bit here, David. The other thing is event blocking. So after you've blocked your KPIs, you know, the things that you want to be doing every day, maybe some deep work, I recommend having a wall calendar also, or even a printed out calendar. This is a QR link to the one that I bought last year that's actually hanging on the wall right next to me. And what I do with that calendar, kind of as a foundation, is I add this stuff into it. There we go. So this is the slide from Masterclass. So on my calendar right now, you know, the first thing that I added in there was Power World in Vegas, you know, coming September 25th through 27th. I added the Leadership Summit in February. I added Solar Saturdays, so February 22nd, May 31st. And Building with Bobby happens on the first Friday of the month. Breakthrough Mastermind is on Wednesday. Monday Forum is on Mondays, obviously. And Masterclass Immersive happens usually like once a quarter. So those are key things that you need to have on your calendar so that you can be aware of when things are happening. But also, if I want to get 10 new team members to Power World in Vegas, I don't want to start that in July. I want to start getting 2 people a month now that can then have time to register and, you know, plan and be there for Power World in Vegas. So once you get this stuff on the calendar, you can also start back-ending out, you know, planning and promotion and training that you want to be doing to get your people or to get you prepared for what's going to be happening at those events. Part 4, wrapping up here, is RAS and accountability. So Anthony asked about accountability. That's what we're talking about next. So this is your RAS, reticular activating system. It's not a reticulated python, but this is built into all of our brains. Ed Milet talks a lot about this, which is where I first learned about it from. So this is a sophisticated filter that screens out junk. It doesn't know always what the junk is, though. It acts like an executive assistant, allows you to focus on what you value, and supports you when you set goals, which is why we're talking about this today. And it controls sleeping, waking, and attention. Let's go back here. So this is built into all of our brains, and you can leverage this by directing your brain to think about things that are important to you. If most of your non-work time is spent thinking about pickleball, then your RAS is going to prioritize that in your brain, and it's going to start working on pickleball stuff because that's what you're thinking about. That's what you're looking at. Of course, you're playing it too. But whatever you're thinking about a lot is what directs your RAS to focus on. And it will screen out other stuff. So you could have it prioritize pickleball and deprioritize power, just because you're thinking a ton about pickleball. So here's how this comes into what we're talking about with KPIs and goals is, how to direct your RAS. So write your daily KPIs on a piece of paper, a card, a sheet, a Post-it note. They even have sticky notes specifically for your shower now that are like waterproof, that you can like take a shower and write notes to yourself. Whatever kind of paper you use, write it on a piece of paper, stick it, tape it someplace, the toilet, your mirror in the bathroom, your computer screen, someplace that you're going to see it multiple times a day, and use it as a memory jogger to think about your KPIs. So it's always in front of you. Okay, so this is key to getting your RAS system to prioritizing that in your brain. And it will start to come up with solutions to challenges around your KPIs as well. So it's like an executive assistant. You're going to think of things about your KPIs, about lead generation, about recruiting that you never would have thought of if you didn't turn your RAS on to supporting you in that goal. Okay. Yep. Don't interrupt toilet time. The other thing is accountability. So this is a link that you can use to go to a sheet that I created for you, where you can pair up with somebody else in Powur. And this is what you're going to do. You're going to pair up and you're going to share. So this sheet you can add your name, you can add your phone number. I'll show it to you in just a second. You're going to start by texting that person that you pick or that picks you. Text them your KPIs. So how many conversations about solar do you want to have this week? How many bills do you want to collect? How many presentations? How many closes? Okay, or you can adjust those if you are a setter as well and not focusing on selling. So at the beginning of the week, after you've shared your KPIs with your partner, Anthony, you saw Willy Wonka on that sheet, yes. At the beginning of the week, I want you to text what you are going to do that week to hit your KPIs. It doesn't have to be a thesis statement. It shouldn't be super long, but what are the actions that you're going to be taking to get to your KPIs? And then at the end of the week, I want you to text that same person, your partner, what you did that week. Okay? Even if you didn't do anything, even if you did everything, you still have to text them. Okay? Now, the other thing I thought with this is you're not going to marry this person. You're not going to be paired up with them for the next 10 years, right? So decide how long you want to team up. Maybe it's an initial goal of a month or two, and then you can evaluate if it's something you want to continue or if you want to switch up with some different partners. That's great. Okay, so let me show you what that sheet looks like, and then we're going to wrap up here. So this is the link. I think we've got it. Yeah, we got it in the chat too. Thanks, Jonathan. So on the left-hand side, let me make sure this is shareable. Yep, anyone with link should be able to edit this, and you should be good to go. So you can put your name in here, your phone number, and then somebody else is going to come on here and they want to pair with you. So they'll put their name and phone number over on this side. So this is just to help you share contact information and find who you're going to be working with. I'm sure Jonathan is going to go on here and edit some name to something else while we're looking at it live. Anthony, oh, there you go. Oh man, you took off Willy Wonka. You got to go below that. Anyone get the Satoshi Nakamoto reference here with 21 million Bitcoin? Anyways, so you can you can use this to help find your power partner. All right. And the link is in the chat. And if you're watching this after the recording, you can either scan that QR code or you can use that bit.ly link, which is just bit.ly/PowerP to get to that sheet. And you can find them whenever you want to and reach out to them. Okay. So here's what we talked about today. Deciding on your why and then coming up with your goals. We talked about planning your daily actions based on your goals. We talked about time blocking your calendar for activities and events. And we talked about using your built-in brain power and a power partner to help you focus and to stay focused. Okay. Now, here's the secret weapon in all this. You're going to have great weeks and not so great weeks. Great days, not so great days. So here's the secret weapon in personal development, and it's 3 words. It's plan, do, and review. Plan out what you're going to accomplish, plan out your activity, do it, then review what happened. Based on that, reviewing what happened, plan out the next week, the next day, then do that, then review it. What that's going to accomplish for you is incremental improvement or compounding improvement. You know, if you improve just 0.3% every day, that adds up to 100% improvement over 1 year. And you can see over subsequent years how you can drastically improve a skill where you're just leaps and bounds above everybody else. Now, what this is going to do for you of planning, doing, reviewing is, you know, people are going to come in and they're going to think, oh, I could never do what they do. So you need to show them that it all starts with your why, setting your goals, coming up with a daily plan that's on your calendar with time blocks, and then this consistent focus, accountability, and planning, doing, and reviewing. That's what's going to propel you to get to accomplishing your why and your goals. All right. So I'm going to stop screen sharing and we'll go into questions and answers to see if anybody has questions about what we covered today. Thanks, everybody. You can come off mute. You can put it in the chat. I'm looking at that now again. Any questions that I can help clarify for you?
Thank you, Tom. That was awesome, dude. Yeah, guys, we have a few minutes left. Don't be shy. Come on.
Thank you, guys. Tom, thank you for that. I was listening about the KPI stuff that you mentioned, and I remember we spoke about the 80-20 principle of 20% of the work gives you 80% of the results. From a KPI standpoint, can you go over the different activities, like what is like the core, the meat and bones we're supposed to focus on? Like, I know we talked about different things like sending emails, door knocking, cold calling, you know, ambassadors, stuff like that. So what is the 20% that we should be focusing on to get the 80% results and to get the KPIs that we're looking for?
You know, I think it's just specific about whatever strategy you will do. You know, people talk about all the different ways to generate leads. Jonathan Bernasso is well known for saying, you know, do them all. Don't just pick one. Why would you only pick one? But, you know, I think that the 80-20 Pareto principle applies to a lot of things. I think that related to your KPIs, I think that you just need to figure out what you will do and then plan to do that, do it, and then review it to see, did I actually do that? Am I willing to pay the price to continue to do this? let's say you visit a BNI meeting and it's at 7 o'clock in the morning. Are you willing to pay the price of getting up at maybe 6 a.m. every morning to be ready for a 7 a.m. BNI meeting? Are you focused on lead generation through, starting conversations on Facebook or door knocking? I'm 100% virtual, so mostly what I do for lead generation, outside of being tagged as a tier 3 partner or lead offers, is connections through people on social media. So my opinion is just decide what you're going to do and then evaluate that after you do it. Okay. I hope that's helpful. It doesn't completely answer your question, I know, but it's just my approach to things. The 80-20 principle, I think, really does apply with your time budget. 10 to 20% of your weekly time budget could be spent or should be spent on trainings and meetings. And the other, 80 to 90%, depending on how you mix that up, should be spent actually doing the KPIs that get you to where you want to be on your goal.
Thank you.
Thank you, David. Yes, you had a question. Go for it.
Yeah, so hey, this was very helpful. Thank you so much for kind of going through this. And I've been wanting to set up my goals, so it's been very helpful. I do have one question though, that I have done what you just said, is kind of try different strategy. I tried posting on LinkedIn. I joined BNI this year. I've done a lot of local places where I go, like a PTO, my kids' school's PTO and HOA and things like that.
Yeah.
What I've noticed is I've kind of gone from one to another and not really gotten anything solid from either or. I've gotten few leads, but they never really turned into sale. So I've had a lot of noise, unfortunately, but nothing really turned into sale. And then I still can't figure out which area is where I really need to focus. So I think my 2025 is what I'm looking forward to, is focusing where it turns into sale. How can I do that this year?
Can I help you out with that one, Samaya?
Yeah.
I'd love
for
to help you out with that, because it's tough in the beginning. It really is, right? I mean, you're like, man, I see these guys, they're having all this success. I see these ladies, I see Cynthia, I see Tracy. What am I doing wrong? And I want to ask you a few questions, help you work through. First of all, what market are you in?
Texas, Houston.
You're in Texas. Okay. All right. And have you been in solar long, or is it just
No,
okay?
This was my first year. 2024 was my first full year. I started in late 2023.
When you're new, right? When you're trying to get off the ground, the only thing, we have preached this, and it's just so true. The only thing you need to do is laser focus on generating bills. That's it, right? Don't worry about anything else. Don't worry about financing. Don't worry about different modules or TPO options. None of that. Just focus on the ability to offer savings or go renewable for homeowners and give that opportunity. Just generate bills. Just focus on generating leads. Now, with that, it's working with a phenomenal tier 3 sales partner, right? Finding someone that you mesh with, someone that has a good closing percentage, someone that you can work with kind of often, right? And check in with, and they'll hold you accountable, that you can learn from. And I have you worked with multiple tier 3s?
Yeah, so I worked with in Texas. I've been working with Shelly
Okay.
Correct. And
Okay.
she's been helping me quite a bit, and she's
Okay.
really good with Texas market. I have sold a couple of deals in East Coast, where I work with Chaz and Adam,
Okay.
on the East Coast side. But I think Lately, last 6 to 8 months, I've significantly only focused on Texas because that's where I am joining new network. Like, so East Coast is just friends and family that I've known from years ago. So Texas is where I'm focusing, but I've had few leads. I would say about a couple good leads every month, but unfortunately, I was not able to, convert over to sale. So I've had that issues as well this year. So I mean, 2025, I'm really focusing on correcting some of the things. It was the first year I was just trying things around. Now I want to correct things in a way that things turn into sales.
And listen, I've actually never sold in Texas. In 5 years, never sold in Texas. And from what I know, Texas is a tougher market these days. It's a lot of deregulated, companies. Everything's a little bit different. There's already cheaper energy and so forth. So I'm not going to say give up on Texas, right? That's your area. We offer Texas, but you need to find someone that really knows that market, right? That has a high conversion rate. And the great thing about our platform is you could see who's in that market, what their closing percentage is, and reach out to them for help. Spread it around. When I first got started, I worked with several different mentors, and took a little bit from every single one of them. But yeah, I know that's all I can say is just continue to generate electric bills. You're going to end up running into one. You keep swinging the bat, eventually, you're going to hit the ball. And then the more you do it, the better you get at hitting that ball. Do not lose faith. Stay positive. It does happen. And and then the other thing I would say is if you're finding yourself like that market just is not working for you, look into maybe potentially prospecting in a market that you want to key focus on. And I don't want to take you off your path of Texas, but that may be something to consider.
No, so I really want to get into other markets. I just don't know how. So I think that's another struggle that I need to overcome this year in 2025 is hiring people or finding ambassadors and finding people in other state. I just don't know how. So that's something I need to figure out. Maybe I need a mentor to help me, or I'm not sure, but I need to figure that out as well.
That comes with it's networking, right? If you find a market that you want to work in, obviously you need to generate leads in that market. What's the best source of leads? It's realtors, right? So maybe reach out to realtors in the market that you want to work with. Talk to them about your services, how you can help out their clients. So just a little bit of tips. I know we're up against the clock right now, but hopefully that helps you out.
Yes. Thank you so much.
Do we have time for one more quick question?
Yeah, we got time, and I'll just add a thought onto there, and then I can, if we have time, we'll circle back and I can show you something. But one of the things that I considered about when I made that calculator was adding a toggle for somebody who was new or starting in a new market. And you need to do a massive amount of activity in order to build momentum. So if you know you need to talk to 10 people a day to hit your income goal, when you start, maybe you need to do 20, 30 conversations about solar a day to build some momentum and kind of fill the pipeline, with people. And so just another thought there about taking a massive amount of action to build momentum and to fill your pipeline. Okay, but we'll circle back if we got time and I can show you something. David?
Yes, sir. What I've been running into a lot lately, I'm in SoCal area, and I speak to some clients who, let's say they're doing an ADU or it's new construction, and I try to even get ambassadors who are contractors and stuff. And what I run into a lot is, oh, my contractor does solar, he's going to do it for me, or like a contractor's like, oh yeah, my electricians are solar certified, we do everything, so like recently I did a proposal for a lady who's doing an ADU, and she said, oh, my contractor's also giving me a quote, blah blah blah, and I came in a little bit less than the contractor, and better product, better warranty, all that stuff. And she said, oh, I realize I need less panels than what I told you. My contractor said he'll do it. He gave me this super discount. He's just going to include it in the price that I'm already paying him for the building of the ADU. So, well, what do you do when you run into this where all these contractors and people are saying like, oh yeah, we do everything in-house, so we do our own solar installs, and the client's like, I don't want to go do solar separately and pay. I could just include it, with my construction cost, and they probably lowball them too. That happened to me a couple of times. I'm just wondering if you guys run into that at all.
I mean, I've got thoughts. I don't know if anybody else wants to jump in, but I mean, that's kind of outside of the normal scope of things for retrofit solar. That's new construction with ADUs. But I would, putting on a sales hat, I would really work at understanding the contractor and their pain points of adding solar, and figure out how Powur can help that contractor avoid that pain, whatever that is. So that's like Sandler sales training, right? Figure out what their pain is and how you can provide a solution. And then get in with one contractor, learn to talk the way that they're thinking, and then start to add in others, in the same area or different areas. So then just scale, right? And it could be that if you could have a webinar that talks about specifically to contractors who are adding on ADUs. Once you understand what those pain points are, and that you're inviting contractors to that, and then partnering with those contractors, whether you're signing them up with Powur as a standard account or lead generator account.
Mm-hmm. Okay, I did try to talk to a few, but it didn't seem like they have pain points. They're like, hell yeah, we want to do it, baby. I want that money. Like, these guys are like, oh yeah, I get my panels from Green Tech, and we do everything. I have my electricians are solar certified. We do it because they're like, okay, why am I gonna refer the job to somebody else and get $1,000 when I could do it and make way more than that? Because I talked to a few of these guys. They're like, yeah, man, we do it all. We do solar.
Well, David, I would just say this. They're not the people to partner up with then, right? So like, that's just it. Like I find different people to partner up with.
But let's say not from a partner standpoint. Let's say I'm even talking to the client, because this happened to me recently. I said, I did a presentation for a client, went great. She said, oh my God, I love it. Like, you're great. And then she lost out. I lost the deal to the contractor, but she said, I'm going to keep you in mind in the future for when I do my main house. Because this is just for the ADU. It was like 6 panels. She's like, oh yeah, my contractor gave me like this super hefty discount,
Yeah, I mean, in that case, you lost the bid. It happens. It's like think about it. If you were getting your ADU built and you had to get 6 panels put on, and the contractor who's already doing the work said, yeah, I'll slap those on there at cost or whatever, because they're winning their bid. Why would you pay a different amount? Now, you could tell them on warranty or different equipment, but ultimately those people are like, nah,
they just care about the inspection pass, right?
Well, correct. I mean, they're not even getting solar because they want to see the benefits of solar. They're just getting the bare minimum so they can get their ADU built. So you're not going to win every deal. You're just not. But and so in that specific case, you were up against it. It was a lose-lose. She wanted to see her options. She went with the different option. But there's that's in California, correct?
Yeah,
dude. There's so much business out there. I would just personally, I would just take it on the chin, move on to the next one.
Got it.
I would not spend time trying to get leads to add on 6 panels to a house.
Well, it wasn't originally it was 10, so it was still an okay, like it was a small
still too small, dude.
No, but the reason
10 panels at 400 watts is 1.6 kilowatts size. Or no, sorry, it's a 4 kilowatt.
Yeah, that's what they required. It was a 4.2, and I came in at 4.25 with 10 Jinko panels, but I was trying to win over that so I could do her main house too. Because
it sounds like you still have the opportunity to do the main house, because the contractor's not going to do a solar project on her main house. That's not what they do. They were just able to do it.
Right.
So I would keep the relationship good. I'd say,
Yeah.
hey, it's all good. Trust me, I totally understand. But yeah, let's get your, get me the bills over for your main house,
Mhm.
so I can do that one, and then move on. That's all.
And
I
she
can
even said like, "Hey, I'm open to referring you some clients
Perfect.
because you were very competitive. Like you know what you're talking
Yeah.
about, this that.
Yeah.
So I might even sign
That's a
her up as an
win.
ambassador."
Yeah, that's a win. That's a win, man. But yeah, it's like it's all good. It's all
Thank
good.
you guys. Thank you.
You got it. Hey, Tom, I gotta
Hey.
jump unless there's anything else, but
Go ahead, man. I'll stay on for a little bit. I think Salil, if that's how you pronounce your name, did you have?
all right, you guys. Hey, great seeing everyone. We'll see
Thanks,
you
Jared.
next Tuesday.
Yeah, just quick question for David. What is ADU? No idea what does that mean.
Accessory dwelling unit. So it's when somebody adds on another residential property on their property. So they build
Like those little guest houses in the backyard of a house, like a small kind of, like a
Oh, I
700.
see.
And when you're in
I've seen
California,
those.
in LA, there's this thing called Title 24. So now, if you're building an ADU, depending on what zip code you're in, you have to have solar panels on it or they won't pass your inspection. So people who are getting solar for the ADU, it's because they have to. So I was trying to win the ADU plus the main house. So yeah, accessory dwelling unit, new construction in the back.
That is a good thing to know. Thank you for clarifying that.
Of course.
Yep.
All right. Any other questions? All right, everybody. Thank you. Hope that was helpful. You guys have a good rest of your Tuesday, and thank you all.
Thank you guys, Tom, Jared. Thank you.
Thanks.